The anime opened with a girl named Sarifai who was offered to the king of the beasts as a sacrifice. She is the latest offering, the 99 sacrifice. It turns out that 100 years ago, there was a great war between humanity and beast kind. Once the war ended, an annual tradition was proposed where a female sacrifice would be taken from the humans to be eaten by the king of beasts. They do this in order to assert the dominance of the beast kind over the human race. However, unlike the previous sacrifices, Sarifai is not fear the beast king at all. When Anubis, the king's advisor, sees her, he tells the king that she is too scrawny. Devouring her will not nourish him at all. He advises the king to simply tear her apart as a display for the nobility, and demand the next sacrifice to be delivered at once. Hearing this, makes Sarifai angry. She calls the advisor, Mr. Dog, and tells him don't be wasteful. Even though she is small, there is at least enough of her to eat. Anubis is surprised to hear that since no one dares to call him a dog before. As they talk, the king interrupts them and tells Anubis to leave. He wants to be alone with Sarifai. But Anubis doesn't want to leave, making the king really angry. He then unleashes a powerful roar and tells Anubis, how dare he doesn't obey his order. Scared, Anubis asks the king for forgiveness and then leaves. After Anubis leaves, the king tries to threaten Sarifai saying she can't fool him. Every sacrifice before her has trembled and wailed in terror in his presence. If she wishes to have a painless death, she better start begging him. Still, the girl doesn't scare at all. She tells him that she has no will to live since there is no place or family waiting for her. Hearing this, the king feels sympathy for her and asks her to stay by his side until the sacrifice day comes. The next day, most of the lords are really angry when they see Sarifai walking freely in the palace with the little demon, Sai, and Klop that's supposed to keep an eye on her at all times. The lords think that the king shouldn't be acting too friendly with the human. Later, in the king's chamber, Sarifai asks the king to put some flowers in his chamber to brighten things up. But the king refuses, saying he has no interest in flowers. Besides, flowers don't grow in the miasma of this land, which lifts only when the moon shines on the night of revelation. The king then tells the girl to always stay in his sight if she wishes to live to see the day of the ritual. Hearing this, the girl asks him, he was worried about her, wasn't he? The king gets angry. He then grabs and put her on his bed, telling her he doesn't need to wait for the ritual day. If he wants, he can just kill her right now. He asks her again, does she still not fear him? Without a doubt, the girl says no. She tells him that she already knows something much scarier. When Sarifai was young, she learned that her name means sacrifice in an ancient book. The people that she thought were her parent was actually not her real parent. They adopted her just so they can offer her as a sacrifice instead of their child. Sarifai asks the king, does he force himself to act angry? Because to her, his eye is not scary at all. The next day, the king takes Sarifai to an old fortress city. There, she finds a flower fields on the top of the hill. It turns out that the king brings her here, just so she can see these flowers. What a lovely lion. At night, Sarifai comes and hugs the king after hearing thunder. She is really scared of the sound of it because it reminds her of her parents. Knowing this, the king gives her permission to hug and sleep on his tail as long as she wants. They then end up sleeping while Sarifai is on his tail. On the sacrifice day, Sarifai is surprised to get to wear expensive clothes. She is really happy, even the little monsters are happy for her. As they walk, she asks the dog where is the king. He replies, saying that the king doesn't show himself to anyone on the night of the sacrifice. Wondering why, the girl asks, is it because of royal tradition? The dog replies saying no, because none of their previous kings behaved like that. The dog also doesn't know why the king doing that. Since it is the king's order, he doesn't dare to question it. After leaving her, in the sacrifice room alone, there is one assassin coming out of nowhere trying to kill Sarifai. The reason behind it was that he wants to take her place and lie in wait for the king. He wants to kill the king because he thinks the king who pander to humans can't defend them. Luckily, as he is about to kill Sarifai, a man comes out of nowhere saving her by blocking an attack with his bare hand. Still, even with a hand injury, the man easily fights off the assassin. As the man is about to leave, Sarifai stops him and asks, is he the king? It is revealed that the king was actually half beast and half human. On a sacrifice day, when the moonlit night of revelation exposes his human form, he always hides in the darkness and waits for it to pass. He thinks to himself that he is a coward for doing that. Sarifai then rips off her clothes and wraps them around the king's injured hand. She looks at the scar on his hand and tells him that he is not a coward at all. It turns out that the king never eats any people. He always let them go through a secret passage, and to make it look like he did the ritual, he uses a knife to cut himself, making sure there is blood everywhere. What a Chad. The king tells Sarifai to escape through the secret passage, but she refuses, saying even if she escapes, she has nowhere to go. She wants her life to end with him eating her. The episode ended with the king making an announcement saying he is going to take Sarifai as his queen, shocking everyone. If you come this far, please consider liking and subscribing for more videos like this. Thank